Om Jnanatimirandasya Jananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Om Jnanatimirandasya Jananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunmati Pachati Deshatarine Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gauram Bhaktabinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So thank you for joining devotees today. Sorry it got a little late. So um, last time we were discussing about the whether the karmas are angas of bhakti or not. So what is karma? What is jnana? What is yoga? And what is bhakti? We need to have a clear understanding. Bhakti is that activity which were described in Bhakti Rasāmṛta Sindhu. We have 64 activities of bhakti related to those activities. Activities those and related to those activities, make it up as bhakti. Karma means your varnashrama duties. These days, most of the people don't follow varnashrama duties because varnashrama is not established. We have a government which doesn't care about varnashrama. In those days, the governments ruled by king in India, they cared about varnashrama, establishing varnashrama dharma. But these days, the governments, in the name of secularism, they don't care about it and they don't enforce people to follow karma also. So, what is karma? Karma is first, the society has to be divided into four sections like Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra, based on their nature, the qualification. And Brahmanas, they have a certain um, activities to do. Kshatriyas, they have a certain activities to do. Vaishyas, they have a certain activities to do. Shudras, they have a certain activities to do. Um, mostly the first three varnas, Brahmana, Kshatriya, and Vaishya, they have very lot of activities common. Like they need to perform every day Panchama Yajna, and they need to do Shraddha ceremony, all these things. Those are all part of karma or karma kanda activities. They need to perform. If they don't perform, they'll get simple reactions. These days, if the population, most of the population is not performing because the government is also not enforcing that, naturally the civilization is, as Prabhupada mentioned, is going toward a hellish life. Um, so those karmas, some of the things, some people may be following, like for example, Shraddha ceremony. Many people do Shraddha ceremony even still today. Very few will do the Panchamaha Yajna. Some people do Sandhya Vandan. All these things are part of Karma Kanda activities. So here, this verse was saying, as last time we were discussing, uh, that one should perform those Karma Kanda activities until they have got detachment or they have got faith in the pastimes of the Lord. That means they have started practicing bhakti. If they have started practicing bhakti, they don't need to perform those karma kanda activities. And because we are all practicing bhakti, we don't need to we don't need to be worrying about those activities as well. Now, this is what karma kanda. We'll look at what is jnana kanda in the as we read the next verses. We'll understand it. Here, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur also comments on this verse. Karmani nitya naimitikadini iti tikacha. So here, some people may be complaining that karma kanda activities here means not the regular karma kanda activities. This is all Gaudiya Vaishnavas, they are making it up. Some people may complain. Because even in many of the Vaishnava Sampradayas, they follow karma kanda activities very strictly. For example, in the Sri Sampradaya, they follow karma kanda activities strictly, even though they are also part the Bhakti Yoga process, right? They perform Bhakti toward the Lord. So people may complain, this is all Gaudiya Vaishnavas making it up. Shastras, they don't mean karma means those karma kanda activities, right? Therefore, Vishwanath Chakravarti is quoting Sridhara Swami. Who is Sridhara Swami? Sridhara Swami appeared even before Gaudiya Vaishnavas uh, appeared. That is, even before Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sridhara Swami. And Sridhara Swami is respected by all the Sampradayas. So here says, Iti Tikacha, the Tika refers to Sridhara Swami's commentary. So in the Sridhara Swami's commentary, what is karma? He gives Nitya Naimitika karmas. Nitya karma means, like as I said, every day you have to perform the karma kanda activity, which is like Panchama, Yankya, Sandhyavandan, and so on. Naimitika is periodical, like once in a year you perform, like the Shraddha ceremony and so on. Right? So those karma kanda activities, you need to perform only those karma kanda activities until you have started practicing bhakti. That is what Vishwanath Chakravarti is quoting Sridhara Swami to say. Atra. Then he quotes one more verse, which looks a little bit counter to the statements being established here. Let's read that verse. Shruti Smriti Mama Yeva Agne Yahate Ullangya Vartate Agnya Chedi Mama Dveshi Mad Bhaktaha Apina Vaishnavaha. So here Krishna is saying, this is a statement of Krishna. He says, Shruti Smriti, the statements of Shruti, which is the Vedas, Smriti. Smriti usually refers to the like Manusmriti we have, those which basically give the instructions for performing karma kanda activities. Okay. So these two are what Krishna says, Mama Agnya Eva. So Agnya Eva. So these are all orders of the Lord, instructions of the Lord for the human beings. Yahate Ullangya Vartate. Those who transgress those two things. Who are they? They are called Agnya Chedi. They are breaking my instructions. They are not following my instructions. Mama Dveshi. They hate me. Mad Bhaktaha Apina Vaishnavaha. Even though they may be my devotees, but they are not Vaishnavas. Very strong statement, which says that if you don't follow the Shruti and Smriti, Smriti refers to, again, as I said, the manuals for karma kanda activities. If you don't follow those things, then Krishna himself is saying, you are breaking my orders and you became a hater of me, and then you are not my devotee at all. This is, as per the footnote here it says it is quoted by Manavala Mamunigal in Sri Vachana Bhushanam. So Manavala Mamuni is one of the great acharyas in the Sampradaya of Sri Vaishnavas, especially, Sri Vaishnavas have two divisions, Vadagalai and Tengalai. So he is an acharya in the Tengalai Sampradaya. And Vedanta Desika, who is in the Vadagalai. So, as I said, two parts they have, Sri Vaishnavas, Vadagalai and Tengalai. Vadagalai follow the instructions of Vedanta Desika. Tengalai follow the instructions of Manamala Mamunigal and so on. Vedanta Desika also quoted in his Rahasya Trayasaram, chapter 17. So this verse is quoted even by the Vaishnavas. So here, Vishwanath Chakravarti quotes the same verse, and then he says, Iti ukta doshahapi atranasti. This fault of breaking the instruction of the Lord, it doesn't exist here in this verse quoted by Rupa Goswami. Why? Agnya karanat. Because Lord has given another instruction. So this is also a word of Krishna only. Krishna speaks in 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam to Uddhava. What he says in this verse, that you follow those karma kanda activities until you have faith in my pastimes, or and start practicing bhakti. Until you do that, you follow that. So because the Lord has given another order, we can follow that order, and that may break his. He may give two different orders. If you follow one order, you will break the other order. It's okay because you are also again following the orders of the Lord. Pratyuta जातयोः अपि निर्वेदश्रद्धयोः तत्कर्णः एव आज्ञाभङ्गः स्यात्. So, suppose if you are performing on the contrary, what Vishnu Chakravarti is saying, if you perform those karma and activities with faith, after having detachment from the material world, and you have pastimes in the, you have faith in the pastimes of the Lord, if that has arisen in you, and you still perform those karma kandas activities with faith, then that is breaking the instruction of the Lord. Why Krishna has said you just need to perform only that until you have faith in my pastimes, right? So if you are practicing bhakti, you don't need to perform that, and even if you perform that, you shouldn't perform with faith in them. As Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 18th chapter, that if you perform some activity without faith, they won't give results. So if you perform karma kanda activities because the world is putting pressure, or your relatives are putting pressure, or you want to teach to the whole world how to perform karma kanda activities, you should perform without bhakti if you are following pure bhakti practices. So you should perform without faith in them, that so that it is not contrary to your pure bhakti practice. Okay. Next verse. Jnana vairagya yor bhakti praveshayo yo gita ishat pratamam yeveti nangatvam uchitam tayo. Jnanam atra tvam padartha vishayam tat padartha vishayam tayoho aikya vishayam cha iti tribhumikam brahma jnanam uchyate. So previously we saw karma kanda, right? Now here we are seeing jnana. So Jiva Goswami is clarifying jnana or knowledge. What does that knowledge mean? Many people think as soon as they read the term knowledge in Prabhupada's purport, they think, oh, it means only material knowledge, that you go to school and you study subjects. Or some people even think foolishly that it is even bhakti jnana. That means you study Bhagavatam. That knowledge also should be given up, because many times it is said that you should not put faith in knowledge, rather you should put faith in bhakti. So they don't read Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita, because that is also knowledge. No. So what he clarifies here, what does knowledge in general mean when we say jnana yoga and all these things, knowledge, yoga of knowledge, right? Knowledge means Tvam padartha vishayam, tat padartha vishayam, tayogya aikya vishayam. There is the verse called Tat Tvam Asi. What does that mean? Tat Tvam Asi? It comes in Chandogya Upanishad. Tat Tvam Asi means you are that. So this is in the conversation between a father and son. So the son goes to, there's a story is in summary, the son goes to Gurukul, and then he studies various subjects, and then he comes back home. When he comes back home, the father asks him, what did you study? And he tells many things. Then the father asks him, do you know about Brahman? Then son doesn't know about Brahman. Then father teaches him the real knowledge. That is the real knowledge. There he says, Tattvam Asi, Svetaketo. Oh, Svetaketu, Tattvam Asi. You are that. What is that? There is Brahman. You are that Brahman. Tat Tvam Asi. You are that Brahman. So he says in that context. So here, using that, Jiva Goswami, he says, there is three things in that. Tat, Tvam, Asi. Tat means that. Tvam means you. That refers to Brahman. Tvam refers to you. Asi means you are that, in the sense that both you are equating both of that, right? So here he says, Tvam Padartha Vishayam. Tvam Padartha Vishayam means that is you. You means what? Atma. Tat means Brahman. And Tayoga Aikya Vishayam. That is the Asi part is conveying. That is merging or equating both these two things. These three things are what is called knowledge or jnana. Tvam Padartha, knowledge of the Atma, Tat Padartha, knowledge of the Brahman, and knowledge of equalizing these two, merging these two. That is called Jnana. So when we say that we should give up knowledge or we should give up Brahman, the path of Jnana for practicing pure bhakti, we mean that merging with the Brahman. Okay. So here, here Jiva Goswami said, Atra Ishat iti Aikya Vishayam Tyaktva iti artaha. So there is a word, Ishat is used by Rupa Goswami. Ishat means small. So first, I think we missed to mention the meaning of the verse. Jnana Vairagyoho Bhakti Praveshaya Upayogita Ishat Pratamamyeva Iti Na Angatvam Uchitam Tayoho. So Jnana Vairagyoho Bhakti Praveshaya Upayogita. To enter into Bhakti, Bhakti Praveshaya, when you are entering into Bhakti, when you have started practicing Bhakti, at that point, the Jnana, the knowledge, and Vairagya, the detachment, both these things are useful. Upayogita, useful. Ishat, little bit. Little bit only is useful. Or little bit of that is useful. Little bit of Jnana, little bit of Vairagya is useful. That too in the first stages, Pratamam, first stages of Bhakti. Na angatvam uchitam tayoho. They are not angas of bhakti. They don't deserve to be angas of bhakti. They are not angas of bhakti. We should be very clear. So here in this construct, Jiva Goswami is saying, what is jnana? Jnana means knowledge of three things. One is about Atma, yourself. The second is about the Brahman. Third thing is merging these two. These are three things are called jnana. Atra Ishat iti Aikya Vishayam Tyaktva iti artaha. So because Rupa Goswami has mentioned, little bit of Jnana and Vairagya is only useful. He didn't say complete Jnana is useful. That means what Jiva Goswami is saying, out of the three things, Tat Padartha, Tvam Padartha, and Aikya Vishayam, in the three things, that is about yourself, Atma Gyan, about Brahman, about merging of these three things, the merging part is not useful. We should give up. Why in Bhakti we are not trying to merge with the Lord? We shouldn't merge with the Lord. So Ishat means only first two things, that there exists Brahman, there exists Atma. I am Atma. I am not this material body. And this material, this whole world is matter. Brahman is outside of this matter. This knowledge is helpful. I am not body, I am Atma. This whole world is matter. Beyond the matter exists the spirit. This knowledge is useful. But what is not useful? That I am equal to Brahman or I should merge with Brahman. That knowledge is not useful for bhakti. So that should be given up. Okay. That in the beginning stages, he says. Vairagyam cha atra Brahma jnana upayogi eva. So vairagya, detachment. Detachment is useful for understanding the first the understanding the Brahma Gyan, basically the three things we talked about it here, right? So there also little bit, he said little bit of both Jnana and Vairagya, Ishad, right? So tatra Ishad iti bhakti viroditvam tyaktva iti artaha. So there also you should give up that which is contrary to bhakti. What does it mean? In detachment, how can there be things contrary to bhakti? Yes, some people, for example, some jnana yogis, what they do, they don't even take the prasad remnants of the Lord. They just give up. I'm detached from matter. All these things are matter. Or I am not going to worship the deity form because it is all matter. I have to go beyond this deity form. I have to go the Brahman, right? This kind of detachment is very, very uh, hindrance for the path of bhakti. Later, I think later or previously, Rupa Goswami has talked about Falgu Vairagya and Yukta Vairagya, the true renunciation and false renunciation. One should follow the true renunciation and not the false renunciation. Okay. So those items which are contrary to bhakti in the Vairagya should be given up. तत्तच्च प्रथममेव इति अन्य आवेश परित्यागमात्राय ते उपादीयते ते उपादीयते. So both jnana and vairagya are useful. Why it is useful? So your mind doesn't get absorbed in other things other than the Supreme Lord. For example, when we are practicing bhakti in the beginning stages, we may become attached to home, work, money, all these things we may become attached. So in that context, when we think, oh, I am Atma, this is all matter, this is all temporary, this is not permanent, I should be detached from them. That's useful, that is good. That is where the jnana and the vairagya you can use detachment and knowledge that you are Atma and the spirit is beyond the material world. So this is all useful in that phase. Hmm? तत् परित्यागेन जाते च भक्ति प्रवेशे तयोः अकिंचित करत्वात्. But when you have entered into bhakti, when your bhakti has started nicely, so he doesn't talk about which stage of bhakti, but I would assume that he is talking about the stage of nishta, that you have become very steady in bhakti. When you have become very steady in bhakti, then these two things become very useless. Akinchit karatva. Akinchit kara means little bit useful. Akinchit karatva means it is not useful even little bit also. Because when your bhakti becomes steady, then you are focused on absorbing yourself into the Lord. You are not worried about giving up mental attachment or, you have to think about like, I am Atma and all these things. That's not so useful. You are worried about, the Supreme Lord. You're most of the time you are spending your time to engage in the service of the Lord, thinking about the Lord and trying to serve. Your focus is completely there. Your focus is not there in the beginning stages, especially through the anartha nivriti. We have to use jnana and vairagya to detach ourselves from this matter. But once bhakti started really in the stage of nishta, you don't need to worry about all these things. Tat tat bhavanayaha bhakti vichedakatvacha. So why jnana and vairagya is not useful, after you have started a bhakti, that in the stage of nishta, because it will become distraction in your thing. When you are trying to think about the Lord all the time, these things can become distraction in your mind. So we don't want to divide our attention between two things. So we just start focusing on the Supreme Lord. So the beginning stages of bhakti, these are useful. Thinking I am the Atma and becoming detached from matter, all these things are useful in the beginning stages of bhakti. But once you get into the stage of nishta, then it is not going to be useful. It is going to become distraction for bhakti. Okay. One more verse. If we have 5 more minutes. यद उभे चित्त काठिन्य हेतु प्राय सतामते सुकुमार स्वभाव इयं भक्ति तत् हेतु ईरिता. Why? Rupa Goswami gives another reason for why you should give up jnana and bhakti. Sorry, jnana and vairagya. Why? Says because ubhe, both of these things generally make your heart hard. Chitta katinya hetu. They make your heart hard, harsh. Your heart will become rough. Huh? Praya in general. Huh? Satamate. This is the opinion of the devotees. Sukumara swabhava iyam bhakti. Then how will bhakti come? He says, Bhakti, which is Sukumara Swabhava. That is, it is very, very soft. Sukumara. If you have a soft skin, then some people can call you as a Sukumara. You have a very soft, skin, or soft person, tender person, like that. Sukumara Swabhava Iyam. So this bhakti is of the nature of very, 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 very soft. So that will become the reason for you to practice bhakti. That is what is mentioned in the Shastras and by the devotees as well. We'll look at the commentary of Jiva Goswami. उत्तरतः तु तयोः अनुगतौ दोषान्तरमित्याह यद उभे इति. So Jiva Goswami says, Rupa Goswami gives another fault of following jnana and vairagya. Kartinya hetutvam. Your heart can become harsh. How? By following jnana and vairagya, your heart can become harsh. How? He says, Nana vada nirasana purvaka tattva vicharasya. In the path of jnana, knowledge, what you have to do, you have to think about the instructions of Brahma Sutra. When you are thinking about the instructions of Brahma Sutra, you have to defeat other philosophies to establish the real truth. You will be starting defeating so many philosophies. So that is the main thing that the commentators of Vedanta, they write mainly to defeat others' philosophies. Because of doing that kind of activity, your heart can become hard. Why? Because you have to cut out others' philosophy with mercilessly. So you become like a hard-hearted person. Those who argue with others, saying that I'm objectively arguing with you. I'm not becoming emotional, just arguing with you. They are very hard-hearted people, right? You have to become like that to argue properly. Otherwise, you cannot argue or debate with somebody else. Anyways, dukkha sahana abhyasa purvaka vairagyasya cha. So in vairagya, so in renunciation, in detachment from matter, what happens? You have to tolerate a lot of difficulties. Dukkha sahana abhyasa. You have to practice that. So many difficulties will come in your life, and then you have to simply tolerate. Whereas in bhakti, you actually absorb yourself in the thoughts and pastimes of the Lord. You absorb your thoughts in the pastimes of the Lord. But here, that is not there. You just simply tolerate. Because of these two things, ruksha swarupa tvad, they can make your heart hard, because they are themselves very, very harsh in nature. Tarhi sahayam vina uttara bhakti pravesha katam syat. So if you want to go higher and higher in bhakti, then you need some help. That is what people are, people may question. Without help, how are you going to practice bhakti? Higher and higher stages of bhakti. There, Jiva Goswami says, Rupa Goswami is mentioning this verse. So what he says, Tatra tasya bhakti praveshasya hetuhu bhakti irita uttara bhakti praveshasya hetuhu purva bhakti eva iti artaha. Bhakti itself helps itself. You don't need to practice anything else to attain bhakti. You chant 16 rounds, you read a Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, you do deity worship, you meditate on the Lord. This itself will bring you to the next stages of bhakti. So the previous activities of bhakti will take you to the next level of bhakti. Whatever you are practicing currently, that will take you to the next level. And that level, whatever you are practicing, that will push you to the next level. You don't need jnana and vairagya to attain higher stages of bhakti. That is what Rupa Goswami is also saying in this verse. Now another objection is there. Nanu bhakti api तद्दत् आयास साध्यत्वात् काठिन्ये हेतुः स्यात् तत्र आह सुकुमार स्वभावायम्. So now in bhakti also you need to endeavor. You need to chant 16 rounds. You need to read the Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita. You need to perform deity worship. No, these require a lot of endeavor. When you are putting a lot of endeavor, what happens? You can become hard-hearted person. Like if you have to work in your office with full force, people can, those who are working like that, they tend to become very hard-hearted persons. And they don't have any emotions or compassion for others, right? So if you put any endeavor very vigorously, you can become a hard-hearted person easily. So the objection is that even in bhakti, you have to do like that. So you can become a hard-hearted person. You put more and more endeavor in bhakti, you can become hard-hearted person. Then Jiva Goswami is saying, no, why? Sukumara Swabhava Yam Bhakti. Bhakti is very, very tender by its nature. So by practicing bhakti, you will also become tender. The more you practice, the more bhakti you practice, the more tender you become. Why bhakti is tender? Here he says, it is Sri Bhagavat Madhura Rupa Gunadi Bhavana Mayatvat. Because you are completely meditating on the qualities, sweetness of the Lord, the form of the Lord, which is very beautiful, the qualities of the Lord, which are very, very sweet and very, very kind and very, very soft. Bhakti is full of that. And because of that, bhakti itself is very, very tender, very soft. Tasmat Bhagavati Nija Chittasya Sardratam Kartum Ichuna Bhakti Eva Karya Iti Bhavaha. Therefore, you should practice bhakti to the Lord with an intention to melt your heart in the lotus feet of the Lord. In relation to the Lord, you want to melt your heart. Your heart should be melted toward the Lord. You should have very, very loving aspect toward the Lord. That thing should come out. With that desire, you should perform bhakti. Pradhanyena cha tata uttam Shri Prahladena. So Prahlad Maharaj, he's quoting Prahlad Maharaj to substantiate his point, but he'll skip this part now. You can read it. 7th canto, 9th chapter, 49 to 50th verse for further. So we'll continue from next verse from here. Any questions, comments, thoughts?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, excellent Prabhuji. This is so nice, actually. Bhakti Rasāmṛta Sindhu, Rupa Goswami's, and also the Jiva Goswami's commentary, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur commentary. Excellent Prabhu, and thank you so much for taking time and explaining this to very, very ignorant like me. It is so relishable and so nice. So one point I want to understand. So when we do bhakti, if we can do our with the melted heart at the lotus feet of Krishna, then our heart will not get hard. That is what we should understand. But last verse you were speaking about.
So basically, that intention should always be there. The desire should always be there that we should melt our heart toward the Lord. And how
Mm.
do we do that? By meditating on His qualities, His form, His sweetness, all these things. By meditating on that, heart will start melting toward the Lord. Because if you start reading about a person's good quality, any person's, naturally the person can get attracted toward the other person. That's how the teenagers, boys and girls, they develop love toward each other. They just are imagining that the other person has good qualities.
Mm.
Uh, Here, the Lord has good qualities. Lord has beautiful form. So by meditating on that, then heart will start melting toward that, and we should also have a desire to melt our heart toward the Lord.
How about the hardness? Something it is mentioned by, in the Jiva Goswami's commentary that, if by bhakti our heart becomes hard. Something you mentioned.
That's the objection. Somebody else's right is raising an objection.
Mm.
Somebody is saying that if you over endeavor itself will actually cause you hard heartedness. So he's saying even bhakti.
How to understand that, Prabhu? Because over and over towards bhakti only, right? Towards bhakti
Correct.
only,
So that's an objection, Mataji. Objection means
not a. Mm.
opponent can argue. So the way they write commentaries in Sanskrit is that to make you understand a point, they will themselves will raise an objection, saying that this is what the others will say.
Mm.
Others will say that you are not a hardworking person, but because you are doing this and this and this and this, you are a very hardworking person. Something like that. Any quality can be established, right, in a statement. So here also is saying somebody may argue that you over endeavor in itself uh, is a activity that can make your heart hard. So even bhakti, this is applicable for bhakti also. Somebody can argue like that. Jiva Goswami says, no. Why? Rupa Goswami says, it is Sukumara Swabhava Bhakti. Bhakti itself is tender. Other things are not tender. If you over endeavor in this material world, those activities are harsh. Why? Because matter itself is harsh. So if you over endeavor for anything material, it's going to make you harsh. If you over endeavor for liberation, that can also make you harsh. But over endeavoring in bhakti practice, that will make your heart soft, because you are meditating on the qualities, pastimes of the Lord, which in themselves are sweet and soft.
Wonderful. Wonderful, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mataji.
So grateful.
Thank you, devotees.
Thank you, Prajajan Prabhu.
Thank you, Anandavaldev Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna.
Thank you for joining. We'll continue next week.
Thank you very much, Prajajan Prabhu.
Thank you,
Wonderful. Hare Krishna.
Panchakalpatarubhyasya kripasindhubhyasya yo namo namaha.
Jai.